Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 20 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. And can I say something? So goddamn good to have you back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, it is a pleasure. It's been a while, but we are back now, full strength, going to do a recap of Week 7 and preview what will happen in Week 8. So let's dive right into it with some Tamakadar news. First bit of news, a lot of injury news here today, this week. Lamar Jackson, for the third straight game, will not be starting as the Ravens QB. And that comes as a terrible, terrible, terrible time because the Ravens are not in a great position. I believe they are one of the worst teams. They have one of the worst records in the league so far. Tyler Huntley is set to start again for the Ravens as they host the Chicago Bears. So this seems like this is a game for the Bears to prove that they're actually one of the top 10 teams in the NFC. Because the Ravens are not a well-built team without Lamar Jackson. Even with Lamar Jackson, they're still not a well-built team because that defense is, runnier than a cold nose during the flu season. So,
I believe the French call it garbage.
yeah, garbage. It's
Achada.
terrible. It is terrible. So, it's going to be interesting to see what the Bears do to the Ravens this week.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, so actually we do have some I don't know if this should be a bit of a concern, but two bits of news that I'm going to discuss. First one is the Washington Commanders. They will finally have both of their two wide receivers available on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have two of their wide receivers, Scary Terry and Deebo Samuel. They'll be playing this Monday against the Kansas City Chiefs. Those both players were full participants in the past 3 days of practice. Coach Dan Quinn said that they will play. And the next bit of mini news: someone got fined. The New York Giants coach Brian Daboll and running back Cam Scatabo have all been fined stemming for violations of the concussion protocol surrounding the evaluation of Jackson Dart during their Week 6 Thursday night game against the Eagles, which we got, I said it, asses kicked 17-34. The Giants were assessed $200,000 fine for violating the protocol, while Daboll was fined $100,000 and Scatabo $15,000 for conduct detrimental to the league. So I mean, like, I get it. Like Daboll and Scatabo were like rushing into the tent to see, like, to check on it. I get all of that, but there's got to be a way to do it, and you got caught. And I think, and you know what? I'll say this: Jackson Dart has a lot of moxie, and he's inspired this Giants team. But I will get to that team later because guess what? A fucking nightmare has come back for them in the midst of the bread man. That's all I will say. What's up with you? What's on the news too?
All right, what is up next? Let's check, shall we? Well, it's another injury update, but this time it's a good one because Packers wide receiver Christian Watson is expected to return onto the field this week when they face the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is after his season-ending ACL tear last year during the playoffs against Eagles, I believe.
Yep.
So the Dirty Birds causing that injury there.
Whoa! You want me to bring the curse again? You're on curse watch.
But yeah, he's coming back, so we'll see him light up the Steelers' weak ass aluminum instead of steel defense. I'm sorry, it's late in the day. I need some pick me ups. But
I got you.
yeah, yeah.
But
So he's coming back. We'll see. We'll see how our offense improves because yeah, Matt LaFleur
I
he
don't know
needs a
what.
head check.
Yeah. I mean, he and Ken Patola needs to brawl out. That's for sure.
Mhm.
But speaking of injuries, for those that are, this is a fantasy watch reminder. For those that are interested in, we do have a major injury update. Friday, it was ruled that AJ Brown, wide receiver for the Eagles, will not be playing the Sunday's game against the Giants. Hamstring injury really tightened up. So all I can say is I'd rather rest him up. And
Mhm.
if you have Devontae Smith available, start him. And I would not be surprised if there are going to be more targets for Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goddard. So keep out these three names: Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard, and Jahan Dotson. Um, God forbid Saquon, please do something. But another thing is that the Falcons, according to Mark Raimondi of ESPN, October 25th today, Kirk Cousins is highly likely to be the Falcons starting QB this Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. Sources told Adam Schefter. Michael Penix
Mhm.
Jr. suffered a bone bruise in his left knee during last week's loss against the Niners. Falcons are now 3-3, so they're falconing it at the moment. Penix was limited in practice for the past 2 days and listed Friday as questionable, which makes sense. And I would still think, like, for the time being, I would still keep Penix on the bench until he's 100%. Keep Cousins going. At least he can get something going for the time being.
Mm.
But like, and I'm going to talk about this for like 2 minutes, but one of the craziest stories happened this season, this week during the world of sports. According to ESPN insider Shams Charania,
Mhm.
a bunch of players, the Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups, they were arrested by the FBI for gambling.
No way. Unbelievable.
It's insane. Um, And because of this, Adam Schefter noted that a lot of the NFL and NFLPA sent out letters and told teams to address the gambling situation, what's happening, what they can or cannot do. Ever since sports betting got legal, it's now
Mhm.
been like we're throwing back into the flames of like what like if athletes can gamble on their thing or not, and it's almost like match fixing for cricket lovers, and match fixing is the last thing you want to do. It sucks.
Mhm.
Or spot
Exactly.
fixing, yeah. But anyway, that is it for the No Walking On News.
Alrighty. Let's get started, shall we, with our Week 7 recap. All right. First game is first Packers versus Cardinals. We win 27-23, and oh my God, our Lord and Savior, the magic number 27, has returned for this season. Rakshak, I will give you some numerology advice like Prem
Yes.
Jyotish always does.
Oh my God,
27.
Dr. Frame from like the cricket hats. God damn.
Dr. Prem Jyotish, numerology expert, has put a magic spell on the Packers because the number 27 is our favorite number. All our wins so far this season have been with 27 offensive points. 27 years old was the age for Brett Favre when he won the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers was 27 years old when he won the Super Bowl. Guess how old Jordan Love is right now, or he will
Uh,
turn this year?
Let me guess, 27 years old.
27 years old. So definitive proof by the universe we will win the Super Bowl this year. But let's get back to this game. 27 did not seem to matter because, well, actually, it did matter at the end, but largely it didn't matter because the Cardinals were in the lead because of massive offensive ineptitude, which seems to be the Packers' specialty, honestly. LaFleur's game planning and play calling.
Hello, offensive ineptitude, right here too.
Yep.
You're not
Yep.
alone.
Yep. It's so inconsistent, and it has been inconsistent all season long. And as you say, Rakshak,
Yep.
what are the three things that kill drives?
Let's see. Sacks, penalties, and turnovers.
Do you know that the Packers had 10 penalties this game? And on the season, they have 50 penalties so far, which is top
What?
10 in the league.
50 penalties?
20, yeah, 50 penalties, top 10 in the league. That's not the surprising part. The surprising part is roughly half of all of our penalties are from two types:
Okay.
offensive holding, false start. They account for 22 penalties on the season out of the
Oh,
50 total penalties that could be called. 22. We are way above average. We are top 10 in the league for both of these penalties in terms of compared to the average. This basically means that LaFleur is absolutely dog shit at game planning and zero discipline when it comes to teaching and coaching players to not make these dumb fucking mistakes every single fucking game. And as a result of all of these penalties, we then end up in a situation where there's static game play calling on first and second downs. And then on third down, this leads to terrible, terrible play calling on third down, trying to either get everything at in one throw, whether you have third and long, or in third and short, trying to get too cute and not relying on our bowling ball of a running back, Josh Jacobs, which is why this game we had a 3 out of 10 conversion rate on third down, which led to many unsustainable drives, which also led to gassing the defense even more, which led to the Cardinals scoring more points than they should have. See a pattern here, Duckshuck?
yeah, I see it very well. It's the same shit that's happening with the Eagles, man. You have all, it's like this, both of our teams have the star power, they have the star
Yes.
talent. But when it
They
comes
have
to
a good QB.
offensive, good QBs, yes. But when it comes to offensive play calling and execution, it's the same goddamn thing. You cannot, it's like one or two good drives, they are so excellent. I'm like, keep going at it. But then you play too
Mhm,
cute. You're trying to do
mhm.
things. It's like there's a like you aren't taking risks. But when you take the risks, it's at the worst times. And you're playing not to lose. If you play not to lose, you'll end up losing. There's what Herm Edwards said this in a very famous press conference. You remember seeing this ad. You play to
Mhm.
win the game. If you and I think like Matt Fulaflor, I don't know what it is, but I saw some parts of the game, and this was very uncharacteristic like the Packers. I would think like usually he would be like the one like innovating a lot. I thought like he would use like a lot
Mhm.
of Matthew Golden jet sweeps and all that stuff, but it's like you're just handing out the ball to Josh Jacobs, expecting him to like be a bowling ball. When sometimes the
No,
offensive
but
line,
so in your case, I would prefer getting the ball to Josh Jacobs. I hate the third down jet sweeps and all of that cute stuff. That has not largely worked. Okay. So in this case, we need um, more reliance on explosive running plays, and we need more reliance on explosive passing plays because Jordan Love can provide it, right? And I'll talk about this
right?
a little bit in the Steelers game, but yeah, in this case, it's just I'm just it's very it's I'm pissed off. I am pissed off. So let's see. Um, in terms of the defense, we played better than expected considering the amount of um, yeah, better than expected considering the amount of shit that they had to go through with the offense sucking every single drive. But yeah, Micah Parsons, man, He's the reason why we are still actually surviving. Him, Jordan Love, and Josh Jacobs are the three reasons why we are still surviving and in a top contending team position. Because he had 3 sacks on the entire day out of 6 sacks by the Packers defense. Great hustle to get to Jacoby Brissett, of course, the quarterback. But we also have a terrible secondary. We don't have a very consistent secondary, which leads to Jacoby Brissett throwing for nearly 300 passing yards against us.
Damn.
279 passing yards. So, yeah.
Let me guess, Marvin Harrison Jr. being a majority of them. And Trey McBride.
Yes, Trey McBride as well. So the two big guys that are their two main passing threats, we did not cover that well. And there was this one play that was some of the most infuriating things that you will ever see. It is 3rd and 23 for the Cardinals. The Packers has just sacked Jacoby Brissett. And you play a 4-man rush. You have your secondary players playing deep, well past the sticks.
Oh, no.
Zay Jones gets wide ass open on the sideline for a 45-yard gain.
Zone? Y'all were trying to play zone.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Which I don't mind. I don't mind. But we can run some zone blitzes for crying out loud. We have a top 10 pressure rate defense with only 5th rate in terms of blitz percentage. But still, I just absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's just inexcusable. Inexcusable. There has to be something done in the secondary. Maybe we not draft. Maybe we trade for another player, some more corner depth, someone who can compete against Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs has been not a great signing. This game, he allowed a 116.7 passer rating, which was highest amongst all the corners.
Yeah.
He allowed a 75% completion rate, 27.3 yards per completion, dude. That's insane.
That's bad.
He was so off coverage, or he was playing so deep. He was playing way deeper than any of the safeties were.
Man, I don't know what to say. It's just it's like the same thing I can say for like Adoree Jackson and unfortunately Keely Ringo.
Yeah.
Which I will get to.
It's a broken it's not broken. It's just inconsistent. That is the issue. They're still trying to figure themselves out, and I don't think that they'll be able to figure themselves out before the playoffs. So that's it for the Packers-Cardinals game. Let's move on, shall we?
Yup. And I'm going to try and talk this slowly, but I think this will brighten up your day a lot better.
All righty.
The Philadelphia Eagles had this quote-unquote revenge game, or this, I would say, get your shit together game against the Vikings. And against a very familiar guy in Carson Wentz. I think this game proved one thing. The Eagles, of course, I would still suspect that the Jalen Hurts pick was way too high as a second round when you saw Carson Wentz in that big ass deal. But this showed that Jalen Hurts has taken over and he can actually win Super Bowls. Unlike Wentz, who was injured. And I mean, I want to say thank you, Carson Wentz, for leading us to a Super Bowl while it was Nick Foles that finished the job. Yeah. Jalen Hurts has taken your spot. Suck it. and Eagles won 28-22. Let me know if you've heard this story before, Anand. You
Go
win the
ahead.
toss. You win the toss. You're starting off on offense. First drive is perfect. Nice runs and passes, and Jalen Hurts caps off the opening on a 4th down pass to A.J. Brown for a touchdown. Beautiful double move. And then everything starts going to shit. Multiple 3-and-outs. And you know what? It doesn't even help. Injuries to Cam Jurgens, center, who's ruled out, and Brett Todd, who's a shitty guard. We have to work with Brett freaking Todd, man. Todd. That's how bad it is. And coming a center, it did not help at all. Then Jalen Hurts cooked and had the best game of his season. I think this was his best career. Quote from Brandon Lee Gowton: pre-week 7, Brian Flores' defense allowed those second fewest passing yards per game, 157.6 yards, 4th fewest passing touchdowns per game, 1, and the 12th lowest passer rating, 88.9. Guess what Jalen Hurts said? Threw for 326 yards, 3 touchdowns with a perfect 158.3 passer rating in the Eagles win over the Vikings.
Unbelievable.
And even with the Kevin Patullo bad scheming and Jurgens being out, Hurts was able to use his legs and made some really great throws out of structures. And I did notice something when Brett Toth was there. The Eagles ran 20 under center plays, and it really worked. And instead of a play action, there's one specific play. I think that's the Eagles' first drive in the 3rd quarter under center. Jalen Hurts, because Brett Toth is bad at shotgun. So here's the play. Jalen Hurts, outer set, they line up in 12-13 personnel. And I'm like, oh, God, this is going to screw up, right? What can possibly go wrong? Because it has never worked. It's not a run game. Under center, steps back, throws a bomb to Devontae Smith. He burned my ex-Eagle cornerback, now with the Vikings, Isaiah Rodgers. And man, Isaiah Rodgers got burned a lot this game. And there were a couple of Devontae Smith 79-yard touchdown catch for a touchdown catch. Yeah, touchdown catch for a touchdown. Oh my God, I can't speak. But there were a lot of big plays. For example, if you look at 3rd and 15, Jalen Hurts roll right, hits Devontae Smith for 28 yards. 3rd and 13 with a bad pocket, hits A.J. Brown for first down, rolls out, and on that 5-0 Eagles drive. 3rd down and 9, when the game is called at the line, Hurts throws a prayer lob, A.J. Brown catches it, beats Isaiah in a double move. And what was really interesting, there were a lot more attacking the middle of the field, crossers, posts, dig deeps. I mean, if you want all that information, I recommend you check out Johnny Page and Shane Half of Eagles Pinball Network and of Bleeding Green Nation. Their stuff is incredible. Devontae motherfucking Smith showing why he's one of the best ones. 11
he
targets.
Is a wide receiver 1, dude. You guys.
He's like 1A, 1A and 1B. Like
Exactly.
Devontae Smith, 11 targets, 9 receptions, 183 career high yards, 1 touchdown. That's 79 catch. And then on that play action, and then even if he's talking shit on social media and all that stuff, and others take it the wrong way, and no, we're not going to fucking trade AJ Brown because they're eating a $90 million dead cap. AJ Brown, targeting him on proper routes works wonders. 6 targets, 4 receptions, 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. He ate.
Day I bench him.
But guess what? I think you'll have to bench him this game, but he's not going to be playing.
We'll
but
see.
Again, the running game was just bad. 18 carries for 44 yards for Saquon Barkley. Under center going 13 personnel. Run game has not been exploding. And you know what? You got to give credit to the Vikings. They looked at what the others have done. They're going to stack the box. You're not going to get the minute you hand the ball, first contact, second contact. The O-line is injured to hell. Landon Dickerson is not 100%. Brett Todd is our fucking center during that time. Cam Jurgens is out. And we don't have a guy like Mekhi Becton. We're relying on a pass-blocking guy in Tyler Steen. Grant Calcaterra, a backup tight end, can't not do stuff. I mean, I don't care with the injuries and whether you don't have the right personnel. Jeff Stoutland has to share some blame on this one, including Kevin Patul, because Jeff Saturday not only is he the offensive line coach, he's the run game coordinator. Like, what are you doing to help this out? I honestly think with the way that this offense has been playing, second round best, we're getting out.
Yeah.
But this defense, if you wanted to bend but don't break, this is your example. Vic Fangio. Yes, you allowed, you allowed only 300, almost like 387 yards of passing, but of total offense. But guess what? You basically made Carson Wentz's life a living hell. Having Jalen Carter and Quinn Mitchell back really, really helps. The edges answered the call. Aziz Ojulari and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out early. There were a lot of snaps for Jalen Hunt and Josh Uche. I thought this was the biggest momentum change. 7-3, Vikings second or third possession. Carson Wentz is in shotgun formation, hikes the ball. Jalen Carter crashes the middle of the field, crashes. He just breaks through the center. He hits Wentz as Wentz is trying to make a throw. Jalen Hunt, who's an edge, by the way, third round pick, he's an edge. He used to play safety in college. Perfect coverage, grabs it. He got a thick six.
Nice.
And we love thick sixes.
We all love thick sixes. Exactly. And that's what football is built for.
Oh, right. And of course, you also have to give a credit to Josh Uche. Critical sack in the fourth quarter to force a field goal. I'll get to the field goals. And don't forget, our boy from UT, Maro Ujamo, with a crucial sack to force another field goal. And the crazy thing, right after that thick six, Wentz, he gets forced out again, throws an arm punt literally to Andrew Makuba. And another thing, Quinn Mitchell was great against Justin Jefferson. I think this is a stat that someone found out. Justin Jefferson, he caught 1 out of 3 targets for just 10 yards across 20 matchups against Quinn Mitchell. Mitchell matched up on Justin Jefferson and man coverage 13 times and forced 2 tight windows overall. Entering week 7, no cornerback has matched up with Jefferson more than 8 times in a single game. Against all other defenders, Jefferson 4 for 7 targets for 69 yards. I think that just shows for good. But yeah, Jordan Addison, he was like the Vikings' best target. And I think like later on, Carson was able to like escape the pocket, scramble, but also having Nakobe Dean back and as your linebacker depth really, really helps. He did have like 3 total tackles at the end of the 3 total. He finished 3rd in total tackles. He had 1 tackle for a loss. Rotated a lot with Jahad Campbell as an off-ball linebacker, and there are times in which Jahad Campbell was an edge. But that's the biggest key, especially with Zadarius Smith being retired all of a sudden. So that was it. But I will say this: even though the Vikings offense did really literally move up and down the field, they could not score at all. And this shows like Kevin O'Connell has a good offensive he does have a good offensive system. But we have to talk about one major crucial stat. When they out of 6 red zone trips, the Vikings were only able to score 1 touchdown. And that says a lot for this team, for this Eagles injured team. Like the fact that they were able to get pressure early, Wentz was just Wentzing, and it was incredible. And I'll talk about this really quickly. If you looked at red zone attempts, 1 for 6. That shows how good this defense has been playing. But we got to talk about the penalties. 8 penalties compared to 3. A lot of procedural. It's been mainly procedural penalties and in the silly mistakes. You cannot be allowing to do that. And the fact, and I mean, And with Jalen Hurts going 19 for 23 and with 12.2 yards per attempt per pass, which is really incredible. I don't know if this can if this can be sustainable because later on some team but it does show that having a lot of multiple talents on your team really helps. But at the end, it doesn't it can't help. You have to find a way to run the ball properly. And maybe you try and use a lot of Jalen Hurts QB draws, maybe proper zone reads or zone rushes. Maybe you go outside or inside, but there has to be a way. And I would also say, if you can't use Brett Toth, why not try and use Drew Kendall, the guy you drafted? And I'm waiting on guys like Miles Hinton and Cam Williams to develop. And I think this could be a case in which Howie Roseman, as much as Des Allen's trying his best to alter this offensive line and whatnot, I honestly think that Howie Roseman needs to draft an offensive line sometime early this NFL draft. Maybe having someone who was ready to play instead of like needing like further and further development really helps. And yes, I did notice that the Eagles did bring back Sua Opeta, who knows the Eagles' offensive system and scheme, as a potential backup guard. It's like, okay, it's cool, but what next? What do we do from there? So there's always that. Anyway, this is what I got from the Eagles side.
So now we are going to go to the 5-minute segment, the best segment from our show every week. Let's get started, shall we?
Yes,
I got the AFC. Well, what happened in the AFC? The Unk Bowl on Thursday.
Oh,
Steelers,
God. That was a game.
Bengals. Greatest Thursday night game ever. Cincinnati wins 33-31 after Aaron Rodgers throws 2 picks. But the more important thing is Joe Flacco is back, baby. 342 passing yards. It is prime 2015 quarterbacking showdown right now. Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers. Joe Flacco won. We'll see the next one. All right, next up, Miami versus Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel with 116 passing yards that game for the Browns. Helped to win, not helped, I guess was present when the Brownies won 31-6. It is so pathetic for the Dolphins right now. They are in the worst situation so far. They have no positive momentum at all going forward. At least Tennessee is a bad team, but they have a potential good quarterback in Cam Ward. The Dolphins don't even.
Tua Tagovailoa needs to go.
Technical difficulty. Sorry. The Dolphins don't.
This is what the Dolphins do to him.
Exactly.
This is what the Dolphins have done.
Exactly. Dolphins don't have a single good quarterback on their roster, and it shows. Tua is done. He's not even turned the ball over. He is CTE, waiting for 1 foot in the grave type of quarterback. It's unfortunate to say, but I think it's very terrible on my part saying that. But he's just not an NFL quarterback anymore. He cannot see his receivers, and it just shows. Miami, I don't know what you do. All right, next up, New England versus Tennessee in Tennessee. Mike Rabel's revenge game and fantasy has come true. They win 31-13. It was a close game in the beginning, and then Ramondre Stevenson showed up with 88 yards. Drake May was fantastic throughout the entire game, pinpoint precision, and Drake May looks to be their next starting franchise QB. And actually, he broke a record. He broke Tom Brady's franchise Patriots record for
Oh,
highest completion percentage during a game for a Patriots QB ever. That was Tom Brady's record. He has officially broken Tom Brady's record. I think Achut and Varun are going to throw parties at this
oh,
point. They have found their next great QB, and it's going to be very interesting the next 10 years. All right, next up, Vegas versus Kansas City. Vegas is in the complete opposite situation as New England. It's yeah, it's not good. Kansas City wins 31-0. It's a shutout.
hmm.
I think the Raiders had like 10 passing yards at the end of the first half or something like that. It's depressing. It is
Oh,
absolutely depressing. What's up?
I just got some breaking the Buccaneers news.
Okay.
Couple of them. Number one from Adam Schefter. Bills activated first-round pick cornerback Maxwell Hairston off of IR. He's expected to play on Sunday against the Panthers.
Yep.
And the NFL is cracking down again on nose-wiping celebrations. Tyler Higbee has been fined $15K for the gesture in the Week 7 game against the Jags. Giants safety Javon Holland and Paulson, along with cornerback Paulson Adebo and defensive lineman Chauncey Golston, both three of them will be out. Falcons have placed Divine Diablo, linebacker, on IR due to a fractured forearm. And last but not least, Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba was hit with a $15K fine for dunking the ball over the crossbar after his touchdown, which was Drew an unsportsmanlike conduct. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is what it is. Let's move on, shall we, to the next game in the schedule. Carolina, bro.
God, what was this game?
13-6. Bryce Young is benched, and Andy the Red Rifle Dalton comes in for the Panthers. Bryce Young gets hurt, I believe. Justin Fields gets benched. Tyrod Taylor comes in. Then Tyrod Taylor is now hurt, so Justin Fields is back for the Jets.
It makes no sense.
Since Meow Mix has retired, the Panthers have been on a 3-0 win streak. So it is the first time that they are above 500 in the past 5 years.
Congrats. Good job.
That's
commitment.
Great. That's great. All right. Last but not least, Colts and the Chargers. I mean, the Colts are the best team in the league at this point. Daniel Jones, like MVP season, 38-24. They whoop on the Chargers. Justin Herbert had a really good game, but it's just the Colts season to shine right now.
Yeah.
It is their AFC, and it is, when you look at the top teams in the AFC, remind me where we have seen this before, Rakshak. All right. The top 4 teams in the AFC: Colts, Steelers, Broncos, Patriots.
Huh. Oh, no.
It's 2010. All over again.
No. Oh, God, no.
It is 2010 all over again with the exception of
Andrew Luck, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and now
Peyton Manning.
No, Andrew Luck, because Peyton Manning was with the
Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos back then. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So like 2012, 2013. It's all over again.
Oh my goodness! But yeah,
we are back. History repeats itself. The Ravens and the Bengals, they had their chance, but history has repeated itself. The Patriots are back. The Steelers are back. The Colts are back. The Texans had a chance, but they have now fumbled it. And the Broncos are back. Chiefs' dominance is over. It's over, guys. It's over. All
Please,
right.
please say
Uh,
so.
yeah, that's it from the AFC side. Let's quickly move through the NFC.
All right, for the NFC, 49ers versus Falcons. 49ers win 20 to 10. You know, the rap group Run DMC,
Hmm.
Run CMC, literally
Yes.
NFC Player of the Week. 129 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 72 receiving yards for a total of 201 yards. Defense played well without Fred Warner. Falcons, it was just bad. Michael Penix threw a pick and lost a fumble. Giants versus Broncos. I think we found ourselves the Masala game of a year candidate.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Like, I'm sorry, Giants, and I'm going to talk so much shit because I needed this. How the hell do you give up a 19-point deficit and you allowed the Broncos to put 33 points in the fourth quarter? Like, what is wrong with this defense? Oh, right, because you were talking so much shit and you got your asses handed by the Broncos. Bo Nix went downtown on that bitch. So suck it, Dart, you rookie-looking motherfucker. I'm sorry. I needed to vent out on Dart.
Yes.
And Scataboo, more like Scatabooty Doolicious. Bo Nix threw touchdowns, ran for 2. It was one of the greatest endings ever. Cowboys versus Commanders. Cowboys win 44-22. Oh, are you them boys back now? Dominant performance, both sides of the ball. Dak Prescott managed the ball, managed the offense. Defense created turnovers. Pick 6 by Deron Bland. Commanders, Jaden Daniels has a hamstring injury. He is not playing this game, I would think. This upcoming game.
Okay.
Lions versus Bucks. Lions win 24-9. Hey, just because you have a depleted secondary and Brian Branch punching people now, your defense actually won. And a huge game from Jahmyr Gibbs, aka Sonic. 218 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns, Buccaneers. First road loss of the season, and the sad part is Mike Evans, man. He left the game with a broken clavicle and a concussion. I think, I'm sorry to say this, but wrap it up. The streak is over. And by streak, we are talking about 11 consecutive seasons of 1,000 or more receiving yards. It's going to take a miracle. I don't know if he can pull it off. Good luck. But you know what? Hell of a job. I think for what Mike Evans has done, and for that record alone, I'm gonna say beat the Dole moment. Pro Football Hall of Fame. Can't better sign him in. Otherwise, you're going to riot. Texans versus the Seahawks. Seahawks! Sam Darnold had 4 turnovers this game. The Seahawks forced 4 turnovers and got a huge game from JSN. 123 yards and a touchdown. A wire-to-wire win over the Texans. CJ Stroud offense were held in check by the Seahawks defense. Sacked Stroud 3 times. Seahawks win 27-19. Rams versus Jags. That was ugly. Why the hell did you have to play in London for this shit? Yeah. Just because you did not have Puka Nacua. They have other players too. Do you realize this? This is a team game.
Exactly.
Matt Stafford had 5 touchdowns, 3 to Devontae Adams, 2 to I think they had like second or third string tight ends involved in this game. Despite with that Puka offense was highly effective in the red zone. Jags drops, penalties, and a disjointed passing game. Travis Hunter got a touchdown, so Rams win 35-7.
Yep. All righty. Last but not least, previewing what will happen in week 8. Oh boy. Let's get started. I am incredibly nervous for this game because the Packers are facing the Steelers, and oh boy. Um, it's going to be one hell of a shootout. Aaron Rodgers, before this game, he said that he started his career as a Packer and he will retire as one. So we'll see how that happens.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's going to be very painful to watch this game because I'm literally going to be rooting for Michael Parsons to assassinate the quarterback who got me into football. I grew up watching Aaron Rodgers. I loved football because I was watching Aaron Rodgers. And it's gonna be now us versus Rodgers. And uh I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's painful. I'm just gonna okay. So I'm hoping that our defense can actually stop um the Steelers offense. It's their offense is not that great either. When you look at their overall offensive EPA per play, um, never mind. I'm gonna restart. Pause. So, in terms of what our defense can do against the Steelers offense, I think that the best way to limit their potential is to get Aaron Rodgers on the ground, right? Is to sack him because if you leave him time, anything more than 2.5 seconds, he is going to obliterate our secondary and our linebackers. They are one of the most explosive teams this season. They are sixth in the league in terms of EPA per play, and when you look in the passing game, they are ninth in the league in terms of EPA per pass, and they're also in the top 12 in terms of EPA per rush. So I don't think that they're going to have a great rushing game because we have one of the best rushing defenses. We are top 5 in terms of EPA per rush allowed, but it is going to be interesting to see if the Steelers pass game can get successful. So what they like to do, what Aaron Rodgers likes to do is to create like a static offense, not a lot of motion, and make sure that he gets the lineups and the matchups that he likes and then target those matchups. So we're gonna need at least 2 people on DK Metcalf, that's for sure. We're gonna have probably a linebacker, probably Edrin Cooper spy on DK Metcalf, and have our best corner, which I have to say is Keyshawn Nixon at this point, line up a lot of man coverage against DK Metcalf. That's what I think we need. We need to have a lot of man coverage, force errant throws from Aaron Rodgers or just throwing out of bounds so that we can quickly get their drives to be incomplete, and prevent them from actually scoring ahead. When you look at the teams that the Steelers have faced so far this season, the defenses haven't been that great. The only defense that they had a great success in was against the Browns. But also, they only scored 23 points against the Browns. So, I mean, it is more than what the Packers did. I will grant them that. Um, it is also a divisional one, but also they just lost to the Bengals. So, you know, from a defensive standpoint, all we have to do is we need to pressure Aaron Rodgers, right? Pressure Aaron Rodgers, get him onto, get him on the ground, and force incompletions, right? Force incompletions and limit the amount of targets or limit the amount of completions that DK Metcalf gets. Now, in terms of limiting um, the quarterback success, the Packers are one of the best in terms of their D line, right? We are top 10, top 5 in pressure rate without being top 5 in blitz rate. So we have the 5th lowest blitz rate in the entire league so far this season, which means our front 4 is getting home, right? And that's the Michael Parsons effect again. So our front 4 needs to get home, but they're also great at knocking down the quarterback's passes. We're the second best in terms of percentage of quarterback knockdowns. So that means that the D line is also there knocking down passes. We're also having a lot of PBUs from our secondary, which is good. But that means we also need to run a lot of man coverage against this team because the Steelers only have like 2 receivers, right? They just have DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth. If we can just target those 2, get 4-man pressure up the middle against Aaron Rodgers, we'll be able to walk away with less than 20 points required from the offensive side. If we cannot get to Aaron Rodgers, he will dice us up like Dak Prescott did. Now, speaking of the Cowboys game, the Steelers defense is so much worse than the Packers defense, okay? They are one of the worst in terms of allowing explosive plays. Let's just see. In terms of the pass, they are bottom 12th in bottom 15th in EPA per pass. In terms of EPA per rush, they're also not that great. Bottom 15th as well. So you can run on them, you can pass on them. They are giving up touchdowns on a pretty regular rate as well. So there are ways to attack this defense, especially when you take a look at the constituencies of the different sections of the defense, right? When you look at some of the advanced metrics that they have, they are typically lower in terms of average depth of target, which means they probably play a lot of man coverage, right? So how do you attack man coverage? Well, you create a lot of different matchups and confusions in the secondary by running a lot of crossing routes, running a lot of motion, and then creating conflicts for the secondary to maneuver around. And that is Matt LaFleur's specialty coming from the Shanahan tree. So we need to focus more on that. Thankfully, Christian Watson is coming back. So one of the advantages of having Christian Watson back is not necessarily him as a receiver, but him as a decoy for other receivers. Because this secondary is so static, they're not going to be very dynamic in terms of their pass coverages. They're going to focus on Christian Watson, which means players like Romeo Doubs, players like Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, they are going to have a big game against this Steelers secondary by getting all of those intermediate chunk plays. That is what I'm excited to see. That is where I think the Packers offense needs to go. They need to focus on this passing game, right? Don't focus so much on Josh Jacobs and the rushing game. Maybe give him about 17 to 18 touches. But I want LaFleur to trust Jordan Love because Love has been consistently clutch this entire season, despite being the 3rd lowest in terms of pass rate in the entire season. Love is 5th in completion percentage over expected. Yards per attempt as well, 5th in yards per attempt, despite the last 3 games being under 5 or so. Right? That means they love to throw the ball deep, and he's good at throwing the ball deep. 7th in adjusted net yards per attempt. 1st in EPA per dropback, which means he is consistently the most explosive quarterback if given the chance. And that is the thing that Matt LaFleur needs to do more. Trust Jordan Love to throw for more than 300 passing yards because look at what happened. We scored 40 points against the Cowboys. Now, that just means that our defense can't let up 40 points, right? We need to get to the quarterback. But we know that that Jordan Love can be successful against a weak secondary, and that's exactly what the Steelers are, right? We know that Jordan Love can be successful. So I just need Matt LaFleur to trust Jordan Love more. And you did see that he started doing that, especially in the last game against the Cardinals. There was a fourth down, critical fourth down, whether it was 23-20, I believe, late in the fourth quarter. If we kick a field goal, we probably give the Cardinals a chance to win the game, but we go for it instead, and we end up scoring a touchdown on that drive because we trusted Jordan Love on a fourth and short, right? So we need to continue doing the same thing. Matt LaFleur needs to continue. I mean, I know we do, but Matt LaFleur needs to continue trusting Jordan Love because he is the franchise quarterback and he will deliver. So that is what we need to do. From a defensive standpoint, pressure with the four-man rush, get Aaron Rodgers on his back. This is not a great pass blocking offensive line, so we need to get him on his back and prevent DK Metcalf and Pat Fryermuth from taking over the game. Because if they do, Packers offense is going to have to keep running over and over. They're going to have to keep scoring over and over and over again, which they can if they continue to pass. So those are my keys for this game. Use Christian Watson a lot as a decoy so that you can open up those middle of the field and intermediate throws for Dobbs, for Golden, for Tucker Kraft. Trust Jordan Love in terms of throwing. So we need, instead of having like a 55-45 split in terms of run versus pass, we need to do more like 63 or 65 versus 35, Focus more on the passing game because that is exactly where the Steelers' weakness is. So, yeah, that's it for my game. What about yours?
Well, with this game, I don't think I'm going to do much of a preview. So, you know what? I like to hear all ears. And this is a very special week. It's Kelly Green week. Eagles are going back to their old Kelly Green jerseys. By the way, we are 4-0 in Kelly Green.
Mm-hmm.
And it's against the Giants. Yes. We want to get that lick that we took on Thursday night where we were rightfully so. The Giants, they were out. They out physicaled us. They kicked our ass. They beat us 40. They beat us 34-17. We want that. And yes, the Giants will want something too because guess what? They gave up a 19-point lead to Denver Broncos, and the Broncos put 33 points on them. And their defense is like, what the hell are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of things happening. Now, if I'm on the offensive side, this is going to be all on the offensive line because I don't care if you're injured to hell. There is the Giants. Let's say this: the Giants have a really great defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the lanes of Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, who is now currently questionable with a hip injury, and Sexy Dexy. Cannot forget about him.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have I'm hearing Cam Jurgens and AJ Brown being out does not work, does not help.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to find a way to break the Giants. Giants will sometimes play a lot of man coverage, like what I think Shane Bowen's their defensive coordinator, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they switch to zone, apparently their zone defense is pretty good. So if I am the Eagles, you have to look at what the Broncos were able to do. Yes, AJ Brown and Cam Jurgens are out. Tough luck. How are you going to counter it? You need to find out a way to get the run game going. I don't care what it is. They just have to do it. I don't care if you run outside or inside. If Saquon Barkley can't run through, hell, use Tank Bigsby. Hell, use the Quad Father. You got it for freaking cool. Quite saying, so his Quad Father is apparently sitting his ass on the bench because I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I don't know why the fuck we traded for him. For Tank Bigsby because he hasn't done shit except for that 1 yard gain. And I honestly think there's going to be, because now with Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland being out, that means some issues on the secondary. So you're going to be seeing Deontay Banks play a lot of man coverage against Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Devontae Smith gets the heavier of the matchup. This could be the Devontae Smith game. And I would also think Dallas Goddard, if the Eagles are able to attack the middle of the field, which I need them to do, because just because the Giants have a great defensive line, they do not have good linebackers at the moment. Half of them are injured to hell. It's not that hard. And I could say there could be some room for Jalen Mechie. And I forgot Xavier Gibson, who we activated last week for as a punt kick returner, and he was really good. Had some nice, decent returns. Maybe we got to see a couple of snaps. And I know that the Eagles activated Darius Cooper, who was like our off-season winner, almost like the big body type size of AJ Brown. So maybe they put him in decoy routes, but you could see a lot more passing variation, but you need to be able to run the ball. I do not care what it takes. And if it means going more play action, I want that. You cannot stick with the same high school offense, high school plays like pitch, dagger, goal. You cannot do that. You need to find a way to make it. If you got to use John Mechie as a jet sweep, I'm okay with that because Mechie has the speed. I'm okay with using Xavier Gibson on that too. And now, Eagles defense versus the Giants offense. The biggest issue is that we have our edge rusher. Our edge rusher depth is thin. And some not surprising news, Brandon Graham has decided to unretire and he's back with the Eagles, but he will not be playing this week. I see him getting ready for the Green Bay week. But I think you'll be seeing more reps for Josh Uche, Jalix Hunt, and Patrick Johnson. I would not be surprised if they put and the best part is we got Nakobe Dean back as linebacker, and he was really good. Him running side to side, helping Zach Bond, that is going to work a lot. And although Jahad Campbell's been doing pretty well as outside linebacker, I would not be surprised if Vic Fangio goes 4-3. This opens a lot. So no, or 3-4 or 4-3. No, 3-4. And Anna, can you let the audience know what a 3-4 version is? 3-4 or 4-3 works.
So 3-4 defense is when you have 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. Typically, you have 2 inside linebackers, so they're the thinner ones, who are farther away from the defensive line, and then you have the 2 edge rushers who are probably on the defensive line. That is a 3-4 defense. 4-3 is when you have 4 defensive linemen, so 2 defensive tackles, and then 2 defensive ends who are either edge rushers or actual defensive ends, so like bigger guys. And then you have 3 linebackers. You have a starting, a middle, and
Mike Samuel. Mike Samuel. But I could see the Vic Fangio using a lot 3 linebackers, using a 3 linebacker set. Maybe you put in for example, if you had Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond being your 2 ends, you can have Jahad Campbell being that 3rd linebacker. Oh, he can come in on a blitz package and get enough pressure. And guess what? Last game, Jalen Carter wasn't there, and you had to see a lot of reps from Byron Young, Jordan Davis, Mara Ojamo. They couldn't stop the run. They could not stop Scatterbo. And because the Giants will use a lot of 12-13 personnel, they've done it with like Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson, 2 decent tight ends. And they had some really good run blocking too with Tyron Tracy and don't forget Wandell Robinson and Lil Jordan Humphrey. I would not be surprised if Jackson Dart targets them a little bit more. And having Jalen Carter in the interior middle, more double teams, and maybe we can finally hit the quarterback and tackle. I do not want to see missed tackling. Fangio is probably mad about that. You got to make your tackles. I get that you want to force a turnover, but learn to tackle and wrap up first. That's step 1. Then step 2, go after it. I get it. And I would say, and then from there, I would think maybe like from 12-13 personnel, like the tight end, like with 2 or 1 or 2 tight end sets, I can expect them to use a lot of play action. And with Quinyon Mitchell being back on the field, I would see him either on Wandell Robinson or Jalen Hyatt. But with Adoree Jackson being out with a concussion, along with Keely Ringo No, and Ja'Cory Bennett, Dory Jackson, Ja'Cory Bennett. It's gonna be a Keely Ringo game, and the last time Ringo was on the field, it was bad. He got toasted. Maybe you bring in Perry Nickerson, or you try and bring in a safety help, or you try and go 3 safety look. I don't know, or have Cooper DeJean move to outside corner, and you bring in Mac McWilliams as your inner safety, as your corner, as your nickel corner. I think that would have to be your best bet, and then you still stick with Reed Blankenship and Andrew Makuba. But it's just you just can't. You have to get the basics right. No procedural penalties. Just be aggressive, but not over aggressive. Play with smart, controlled, and sheer violence. I don't care. I want our lick back. I want a fucking shutout. And in the words of Brian Dawkins, who I'm wearing this jersey, and I'm bringing in the spirits of all late great Eagles and Jerome Brown, Reggie White. And
Reggie White is a Packer.
He'll
He
always
is
be
Packer.
Do you want me to curse your team?
He won a Super Bowl with us. That's all that matters.
Shut up. Okay. But I will say this. Eagles, it's going to be a close game. 27-20 Eagles.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot to get my game prediction for the Packer-Steelers. I think Packer... My chair fell back. I think the Packers win 31-23.
Ooh, high score game.
Yeah. All righty, let's move on to our Masala games of the week, and then we'll close out our episode. All right, my game of the week is going to be these Cowboys versus Broncos. I think it's going to be a fantastic showdown. One of the best offenses this season in the Cowboys against one of the best defenses this season in the Broncos, one of the best passing offenses and passing defenses, and in the Broncos, who just let up 30 points to the New York Football Giants. So, they're probably coming off of a very, 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 very uncomfortable victory, shall I say, for the Broncos defense, right? This is completely not what we expected from the Broncos. This is like one of the best defenses in the league when you look at their EPA metrics as well. So, yeah, it's definitely surprising that yeah, it's definitely surprising how much of a success how much success the Giants had against the Broncos, because Broncos are fifth in passing EPA allowed. So they're not bad. Okay, they're also really, really good in terms of blocking the run as well. They're a top 10 defense in terms of run stopping. So there definitely is going to be some fight for this Cowboys passing game. One matchup that I really like to watch in this game is going to be George Pickens versus whoever is going to be that outside corner, because Pat Surtain is going to lock down CD Lamb, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But who is going to be that other player, right? Who's going to be the guy who's going to stop George Pickens? Because if George Pickens has a big game, Jake Ferguson has a big game, Broncos defense is toast.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That is going to be the biggest problem for for this team. So when you look at Denver, right, their best coverage player in terms of passer rating allowed is actually Justin Sternad, who was fined for his comments against that referee in the past game, but he's also a linebacker. Next up is their safety, Brandon Jones. So when you look at their um, corners, their best corner is actually Pat Surtain. And then you have
Is Johnny Barron on the team still or what? Or is he
no,
injured?
it's Riley Moss.
Oh right, yeah.
Hmm. And then Jaquan McMillan. So when you look at this secondary, I think that the Riley Moss and um, it's going to be interesting who plays slot, first of all, because that's probably going to be whoever is going to be facing CD Lamb. But if you're going for a strict man-to-man like coverage scenario, then Riley Moss versus George Pickens is going to be the battle that I'm going to expect some fireworks from. Because whoever wins that battle can start to control the either offensive or defensive success. So I think the other thing that needs to be checked is just how much pressure can this Denver defense generate, because they are a really good defense in terms of um, generating pressure, right? So when you look at their pressure rates, for example, they're the second highest on the entire season in terms of pressures forced, and they're the number one sack team. They have 34 sacks on the season. So they can get to the quarterback, they can pressure the quarterback. They're also really good at knocking down the quarterback. They are pretty good at hurrying the quarterback, and they don't blitz they do blitz the quarterback a lot. So that is going to be something that the Cowboys offense can then target. But let's see how many four-man pressures and how many four-man led sacks can the Broncos actually generate. Because if they can't get if they can't get Dak Prescott onto the ground, it's gonna be like the Packers and Cowboys game all over again.
It's gonna be a long game, yeah.
Yeah, Dak Prescott is going to find the open receivers, and he's really good and really accurate at delivering the ball to the target when he's kept clean. So the aim of the game is going to be to get Dak Prescott sacked, right? So that starts with the coverage as well. I would not play man coverage personally. I think the receivers are so good for the Cowboys. You have too many options. You even have Javonte Williams coming out of the backfield. So you sometimes even have Cavante Turpin. I think tight zone coverage with a lot of zone blitzes, that's probably going to be the main scenario against this Cowboys offense. And then when you look on the flip side, Bo Nix has to take advantage of this week.
They have a bad secondary. Plus, Trayvon Diggs is going to be on IR. Take advantage of that side. I mean, Cortland Sutton, he's going to be shadowed by Deron Bland. Their other receivers, just target them. And Nix, and I don't think they have the strength to run, to like stop the run as well. So
so hopefully expect some gains for RJ Harvey, especially in the red zone, and definitely expect a lot of gains for J.K. Dobbins, right? So he's going to be the main workhorse running back, especially against this weak Dallas defense. And that's also one way to keep the Dallas, pass rush at bay as well. So they are actually the best team in terms of generating pressure, 33%, which is very surprising considering that they don't have Micah Parsons anymore, right? But on the other hand, they're not good at getting the quarterback on the ground. They're like middle of the road in terms of converting the pressures into sacks. So the key is going to be withstanding that pressure, staying in the pocket, delivering accurate balls, not turning over the football, and running the football. So I expect J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey to have big games against this Cowboys defense. So, yeah, let's see now. So let's see just how successful this game can be. I think that the two matchups that we're going to have to look at. A is going to be George Pickens versus whoever's going to be CB2, whether that's Riley Moss or Jaquan McMillan.
Mhm.
And then B is going to be how Sean Payton utilizes those two running backs, and if Bo Nix can not fumble the ball or throw picks. If he is Mo picks, then it's done. They're not going to win. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think I think Cowboys. Do I do it?
Don't do
Do
it.
I do it?
No, no, no.
Um, yeah, I think the Cowboys win. I think this offense, dude, it's unbelievable how successful this offense has been so far, both in terms of running and passing, but especially in terms of passing. I think I read somewhere that Dak Prescott in the past 3 or 4 games has 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He is on fire.
He's on
So
fire, but you know what?
he's an MVP candidate.
He's an MVP candidate, but you know what? He will never get past the second round in the playoffs. Let him keep
Okay.
all his stats.
See, that doesn't matter at this point. Right now, we're just talking about this game. But yes, I agree with that. But this game, um, I don't know. I think it's going to be Cowboys edging out in a very close victory, 31-30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my game of the week, and I think I'm just gonna go with the lines as well. You took the best game, literally. Everything else sucks. But looking at record purposes, the Panthers versus the Bills.
Yeah.
This could go so many different ways. The Bills are coming off a bye with 2 straight losses. Cam, I think he is screaming his head off right now. And the Panthers have won 3 consecutive games and are undefeated at home. The Panthers, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and ever since they started working well with Rico Dowdle, this Panthers rushing attack, this offense has come a little bit more alive. And of course, we saw Bryce Young getting hurt in this game. And so it'll be Andy Dalton versus Josh Allen. Yay.
Yeah.
So, thing is going to be the consistency with Josh Allen. After going 4-0, this offense has dipped, and the Panthers defense, I'm sorry, we want to give the Panthers as much credit as they are for like tightening up, but they're ass. Panthers defense is ass. And if there was and I mean like their only good players, I thought like their secondary has been decent so far, especially with JC Horn, and Mike Jackson. JC Horn is coming up, and I think that's been pretty good. But I would also think like the offensive lines, Buffalo's top ranked rushing attack with James Cook, and the Panthers' run defense has been kind of solid from what I've heard. I mean, having Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson, Tershawn Wharton, Nick Skirton, that pickup, that outside, that was linebacker, Christian Rosenbaum, and Trevin Wallace. So they go like on a base 3-4, and somehow even with like some of the like they don't have like standout players from what we see, except for that rookie Nick Skirton. Nick Skirton who currently has 4 solo tackles, 1.5 sacks for the team. I think they've been going pretty good, but the secondary, JC Horn, Trevon Moehrig, Nick Scott, Mike Jackson, Josh Smith-Wade, and Princely Uman Millian. I mean, it's not bad. Like the Buffalo, but the thing is, it'll be depending upon how the offense versus the defensive lines play out. Buffalo's top ranked has the way that James Cook has been running, plus the Buffalo O-line has been very, very solid. However, on the other hand, the Buffalo's run defense is bottom of the tier. And Carolina with Rico Dowdle, you know what they're smelling. I smell blood. They smell that chicken blood. They want that Buffalo baked barbecue. They want the Buffalo wings.
5.7 yards per attempt rushing allowed. So
I mean, and looking at Rico Dowdle, yeah, even though Chuba Hubbard's back, Rico Dowdle's. I think you start Rico Dowdle if you're fantasy. Right now, he's averaging like 5.6 yards per carry, 98 carries for 551 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I know it's been like not good, but he's third in the league right now with 551 rushing yards.
And he's played like 4 games.
4 games. And it's insane. And not only that, if you can't stop the run, they could just pound the rock, really. Or as the Carolinas motto, keep pounding. That's all they could do. And guess what? Not only that, they have a decent and emerging wide receiver core. Ted McMillan, Hunter Renfrow, Jatavion Sanders, Jalen Corker, Xavier Legette, and Tommy Tremble. I mean, but and I think I thought I saw Anaya Smith in this one, but never mind. And their offensive line is trying to figure things out. But biggest things, injury updates for the Bills. Key Bills, defensive tackle Daquan Jones, questionable Dalton Kincaid and Matt Milano. Those are your 2 things. And just to wrap this up, the Panthers, their rushing attack, I think it's going to be more Enrico Dowdle, who's going to be running a lot more. Andy Dalton, he will need the run game to work well so that he can try and pass. And again, Carolina's defensive front, very good. And can they contain Josh Allen? And I think they do have the corners. If you look at Keon Coleman or Khalil Shakir, they don't stand out because I can see J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, or hell, they put in someone else on it. And I think this could be, and you know what? And if the Bills are able to roll with Josh Allen and the Panthers have no answer for it, the Bills win this game. But you know what, Anand?
Mm-hmm.
I've said a lot of stupid shit before. You know where I'm going with this.
What?
I'm going for the upset. Give me the Panthers.
Oh my God.
The Bills are upset. Their Bills are favorites.
Upset watch.
7.5. I got the Panthers on upset watch. Give me and if I'm looking at spreads and all that stuff, the Bills are 7.5 favorite spread. If I'm this, I'm saying go for the Panthers and take the points. Go for the Panthers, total it, man.
All right. Okay, so that's going to be it for us today. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host a podcast on: Apple, Google, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and Blackstruck.
We're also on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon for more notifications. Mm-hmm. And you can also find us on our social media platforms, Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads, all lowercase at NFL Masala 2022. That is at NFL Masala 2022.
And now we're gonna hit you guys with their signature outro. Go Pack Go.
And fly, Eagles, fly. Take care and have an awesome day. And please win this game, damn it. I don't want to get swept by the Giants.